Are you trying to get a six-pack, maybe for a New Year's resolution? I used to have a six-pack, and now, obviously I don't. And as someone who used to have one, I can honestly say that it's not worth it. So in this video, I'm going to explain the 3 reasons why it's not worth it to try to get a six-pack. The first reason is pretty straightforward, but not a lot of people consider it. And that's that no one's going to see it even if you do have a six-pack. I mean, think about how often you're shirtless. It's basically when you're at the pool or the beach, or maybe you have your shirt off at a party or a club. But 90% of the time when you're in public, you're gonna have your shirt on and no one's even gonna see that you have it. When I finally got my six-pack, I was trying to find opportunities to show it off, but there really isn't much other than posting pictures online or into that thing that people do with their shirt, where they like subtly lift up their shirt to like wipe off some sweat or whatever. That's pretty much the only way that people will know that you have abs. So if your goal is to get an aesthetic looking physique or just to be good looking, then it's not really that good of a goal because people aren't gonna see it. Instead, what's better to focus on is working on shoulders and arms because you can see that through clothing. And shoulders especially give you a really nice tapered look. In fact, if you are skinny enough to have a six-pack, you're probably gonna look even smaller than you did before. So with your shirt on, you're not gonna look any better than you did before. If anything, you're probably gonna look worse. But that's just a small reason why getting a six-pack isn't worth it. Now I'm gonna tell you about the bigger reason why. So a lot of people think if they spend a lot of time in the gym doing sit-ups and crunches, that eventually, if they push themselves hard enough, they're gonna have a six-pack. But that's not how it works. No matter how much you work out your abs in the gym, if you don't have a low enough body fat percentage, you're not gonna be able to see your abs. In other words, you have to be skinny enough. And you don't just have to be skinny, you have to be ridiculously lean. That means you're gonna have to go on a diet, and that part is way more important than doing the ab exercises. And your diet is gonna last a really long time because most people are way further from abs than they think they are. The average body fat percent for male adults in the US is about 20 to 25%, and you need to be around 10% to start clearly seeing your abs. That means you're gonna have to be in a calorie deficit for a really long time, which is hard. When I was dieting to get lean enough to have abs, which is what some people call a cut, I was constantly hungry and tired. And I was having chicken breast, broccoli, and Diet Coke all the time. It was not fun. You're gonna be hungry, irritable, and have low energy all the time, and it's gonna make life more difficult overall. Because like I said, this can take a really long time. It took me about 3 months to get lean enough to show my abs, and the whole time I had to track my calories and manage my diet really strictly, on top of doing cardio and muscle training. And sure, I reached my goal in the end, but it was completely unnecessary. I really don't think having to count calories and be so strict with nutrition and exercise for so long is worth having a six-pack. You know, it's not the same for other physical attributes. If you want to grow your chest or your arms or back or any other muscle, you don't have to be so insanely strict with your diet. All you have to do is eat enough protein. But for abs, it's really hard because you have to be getting enough protein and you have to be under a certain calorie limit. So you're trying to eat a lot of volume because you have to eat a lot of protein. You also have to be low calorie. So you're constantly trying to balance eating a lot of protein but not going over your calorie limit, which is really unintuitive at times. Also, just to clarify, doing ab exercises like crunches and sit-ups do matter. They do make your muscles look bigger. I was doing cable crunches. I started at 15 pounds and after 3 or 4 months I was able to move up to 100 pounds. And it definitely made my abs look bigger. So you can't just diet if you want to have good looking abs. You'll be able to see them, but they'll be small. You have to also train your abs if you want well-defined muscles. The third reason, this is maybe the biggest one, is that going down the path of being in a calorie deficit and being so intense with your nutrition and dieting and exercise can start leading to body image issues. I remember when I was working towards my goal of having a six-pack, I was constantly checking myself in the mirror every day, and I was paranoid that I wasn't doing anything and I wasn't seeing any results. And when you're checking so often, you really don't notice the results because you're overly critical on yourself and you're checking at such small intervals. Other people will notice more than you do. I remember people will tell me, wow, you really lost weight, or wow, you look a lot different. And for me, I didn't even feel that because I was checking so often that I just saw small increments of progress. So you almost start to become delusional about how you're progressing because you want to be strict with yourself and your brain also plays mind games on you and you're not able to accurately assess yourself. Which is why you have to track your calories and your weight loss numerically, because if you're not keeping a record, then you really can't trust what your brain is telling you or what you're looking at in the mirror, because you become completely delusional and paranoid of what you're looking at. And the mental stress of that is honestly not worth it. Also, as everyone's noticed, male beauty standards are as intense as they've ever been. More than ever, there's so many videos about how to get jacked, how to get abs, how to get lean, etc. Even if you're not into fitness, if you just scroll on YouTube, you'll eventually find videos like that without looking for them, which makes it easy to obsess about your appearance. And there's nothing wrong with those types of videos in itself. Exercise is really good for you, and it's really good that there are so many resources available to help people for free. But it does definitely lend into body standards and people becoming obsessive with how they look. And it's clear that the increase in this content has led men to be more self-conscious about their appearance and develop more body issues. There was even a study done this year that showed that steroid use among men aged 18 to 34 has increased up to 25% worldwide. In other words, there's more pressure than ever from young men to fit a certain body type. Now, to be clear, I'm not saying that having a six-pack is bad, or that being passionate about your appearance or your physical fitness is a bad thing. I just think that the goal of having a six-pack specifically is overrated, because it's difficult, no one can see it, and it can lead to body image issues. And of course, any type of physical progress you're monitoring can lead to you having body issues. But I think that when you're going towards a six-pack, you're especially prone to that because you're also managing your diet so strictly and you have to constantly monitor your progress, right? If your goal in 2025 is to be healthier and exercise more, I think that's really good. Focus on doing something that makes you feel strong and more confident. And muscle training is really good for that. I used to just do cardio and that felt good in its own. But once I started training my muscles, that's when I really started feeling an improvement in physicality. I don't even do anything crazy, I just do push-ups at home now, because since I moved, the gym became far and expensive, so I've just been doing at-home workouts. And I don't have any specific numerical or body goals, I'm just trying to do what feels right for me and what makes me feel good, and I'm really happy with that. Anyway, thanks for sticking around to the end of the video. I got a new lighting setup and a new microphone, hopefully you've noticed. And I have a goal of posting at least 50 videos in 2025, so if you're interested to come along for the ride, feel free to subscribe and leave me a like, and I'll see you in the next one.